Hello there. It's Rabbi Rafi Cantor of Tifereth Israel Congregation with my 10th video uh, for in the series that I've started during this time where we are under shelter-in-place restrictions, which just were lifted this week, obviously with caveats of the efforts that need to be made before we can re-enter houses of worship. And that leads me to just say we're going to need your patience as we structure our re-entry into the synagogue. Yes, we're in phase one, but there's much to do before we can enter the building itself and have services. So I ask that you bear with us as we need to disinfect the building. We're going to need to make sure we know how to do a service with social distancing and making sure that that's effective as we do it for a service. All you need to do is imagine what it takes to take out the Torah, and we're going to have to modify many of our traditions around taking out the Torah. We're going to modify those traditions to make sure that we are all safe as we once again return to prayer together in the presence of each other. So I, for one, am really looking forward to being back, davening together and being in our sanctuary and or our chapel. Both are places that I enjoy being in and being there with you. So hopefully you're looking forward to that as well. And hopefully it will not be in the not too distant future. But again, we ask your patience as we slowly gear up to re-entry. Torah reading for this week, the Torah portion is Bamidbar, in the desert. We've begun a new book of the Torah. I guess it's appropriate that the restrictions were lifted as we begin a new book or a new chapter in the COVID-19. We begin a new book in the Torah, Bamidbar, in the desert. And we have there one of the aspects of this portion is the census. And the census is a counting of the men eligible for war, and I stress only men, and we need to acknowledge that they are the ones being counted here in this portion. And each tribe is counted, and the number of men above 20 years old to be counted for the census, able-bodied and ready to go to war for the people of Israel. Now, it can be hard to find meaning in such a portion where we have a repetition of language around the counting. There are certain phrases that come up over and over again. The phrase "Lemishpachotam leveit avotam," okay, the registration of the clans of their ancestral house. B'mispar shemot miben ashrim shana v'mala, as listed by name, age 20 years and over. We see that phrase coming up over and over each time every tribe is counted. And I think we should appreciate the uniformity because, for me, it's an articulation that each tribe, from the largest, which is Judah, to the smallest, which is Benjamin, they are all equal before God. And the language, the repetition of the same language in each counting tells us that we are meant to see each one of these tribes as equal, though their numbers may be unequal. And I think that's important. I think that we should appreciate that God sees each one of us, no matter where we are on the socioeconomic ladder, on the spiritual ladder. You pick that sphere of those who are considered successful and perhaps less successful. And the fact is, God sees us all equal. And I don't think we should underestimate the power of that idea, especially when we talk in our day of the have and have-nots, the unequal way that the COVID-19 virus has attacked those who are poor versus those who are not. We should appreciate the fact that our text is very clear to articulate the equality through the repetition of language there. And we also see a certain symmetry with that. I just go to the way, the description of the way the camp moved. The camp was laid out in very specific ways. Uh, uh, three tribes on the west side of the tent of meeting, um, three on the east side, three on the north, three on the south. That's the outer circle. Within the inner circle, we have the Levites, the Merarite group of Levites, the Gershonites group of Levites, and the Kohathites uh, group of Levites. Those being north, west, and south around the tent of meeting within the inner circle, and of course the priests on the east side there. And you have a perfect balance. Think about that. 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1. So symmetry and balance are a part of even the way the Mishkan, the tabernacle, is surrounded when it travels. And one could see symmetry as a sign of equality as well, right? That balance, that idea that we are all equal, or equalizing our role within protecting the spiritual center of who we are, is a powerful idea. And I think it's one that we should spend some time thinking about. And I think in this time of opportunity to think about our country, now that we have to rethink so much, perhaps we need to rethink how we can make our country a more equal society, a more just society, and a much more caring society by bringing equality and justice to every member of our country, every citizen of our country. So I hope you'll think about that as you read the Torah portion for this week. I hope you have a good and peaceful Shabbat. I hope you are continuing to taking care of your health, both mental, spiritual, and physical health. And I would only wish you, finally, I would like to say, I want to wish you a good Shabbat, good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom, a good and restful and peaceful Shabbat. Take care. And I look forward to seeing you soon in the synagogue.